Okay, here is our corridor. I've done a little bit of cleanup on it, and it had a lot of cross sections, these green lines through here. So what I did to fix that is I went to corridor properties and go to corridor properties here, and we looked at their frequencies. So the frequency here, when we click this for the first section, it had these as being in yes, and I'm going to change these back to yes real quick, just to show you what this looks like when those are targeted like that. So we'll let the corridor run, and they become almost erratic. The distances between each sampling is all different. Unlike this one down here where it's pretty consistent. It's every, I think, 10 feet throughout. But you can see that this one's fairly erratic, and they get really close, and it'll start eating up your resources if you don't take care of this. So what we want to do is go back to corridor properties and change this first section to say no on the offset targets. It just makes it too busy. Sometimes you do if you have some fairly clean data, you can cut those frequencies at those geometric points on the offset targets. But for here, we're not going to do that. We just made them 10 feet each, and then if there are any problems with that, and we can make these 25s. And I would probably suggest making them 25s as we go through some of these scenarios, because it's going to greatly increase the speed at which this rebuilds each time. So you can see that these are spread out to 25s for this particular cross section, and we can do the same thing to the second area here, down here. And what I've done is, although I ran the corridor all the way through, I've chopped out these intersections because they're going to need some more detailed work with the split region. And so this whole road was one region all the way down to Eaton Road. And so while the corridor was selected, I hit split region, and it asked me to select the region. I selected inside here, and then I selected the end point of this arc, this return right here. And that's where it cut it. Then I went across the street here and did the same thing with this return point. And then once those are different sections, then what I can do is under the properties, I can just turn those off and on. I've also renamed that Risa Way because that is the intersection name that you see there. It's called Risa Way. So if I turn this on, and I just turn these on and off at will. They're not that big a deal. But if I hit the apply button, you'll see that turn on inside here. And of course, it'll be incorrect because we have to do some handwork there. But I just wanted to show you what this looks like. You say okay there and get rid of this. The other thing you may want to do is make this just tiny in here, because it'll continue to show you this information kind of get in the way for right now. We don't need it. So we'll go back to corridor properties, and then we'll turn back off the intersection of Risa Way, and you'll see this area disappear. And that's how you control these corridors. Here's another section right here that we can change the frequency. We'll make this every 25 and every 25. You can make it anything you want, but I'm going to change the rest of these to 25 just to speed up this process, and then we'll go through and show you how you can kind of fix this so that you can still stay with the 25s and still also catch certain areas. When I get done here, you're going to see some areas that need attention, and I'll show you how to fix those. So we'll turn these each 1 to 25. And then this is going to run the corridor much faster, and it'll be much cleaner. It'll be very fast. It's having to do the whole corridor, so it's taking a few minutes here. But as we go down the corridor, it's every 25 feet, very clean. But every once in a while, we'll find a location that, in fact, it's not following that feature line, and here's one right here. What you can do is just add a section, and you say, well, I want to add a section to really to here, and I want to add a section to here, and I want to add a section to here, and I want to add a section to the tail end here. And when this reruns, now you've fixed just that one drain inlet. Here's another one that requires some adding a section to. So we will add a section to here, to here, to here, and to here. And when we rerun this, it'll be much cleaner. And it'll still be very fast as far as regens go. Here's another one. It should really come to here. So we'll add a section to here, to here, to here, and at the end. And now that cross section will come out and meet there. And then again, we'll have to do some special things with this area right here. So we have targeted in the X, Y, and Z direction all of the lip of gutters, of the existing lip of gutters. Now it's time to start shooting for the proposed lip of gutters. So what we would do there is we would, if we're just going to do a straight grade all the way through, then there's an easy way to do that. But these are long curb and gutters. So probably the best thing to do in this case is have these built into alignments and cut profiles with them so you can control and present the profiles to the contractor much easier. So what I would do in this case to do this proposed curb and gutter, I would go to the alignments, create an alignment from a polyline, and I'll select this line here, and it's going to be going in the forward direction just like the rest of it. And I'm going to say again, we have to keep this good naming convention. So right lip, and maybe starting at a particular station. For right now, I'm going to call it this because I need to go back and see what that needs to be. I'm going to turn off this add curves. I want it to just follow that, and for this purpose, I don't want it to erase the entity. So it created an alignment based on that polyline from here all the way down on the right-hand side of the road to this point. So with that, now that it's an alignment, and by the way, this goes from station, let's say 30 plus 28 or so. Let's just rest our cursor out here. I'm sorry, 3128. So here's 31. So what I would probably do is I would say, I'd go to the alignment and rename that 31 plus 28 to whatever that last station is down here, because again, you have to keep track of these things. So if I rest the cursor basically right here, that's going to be Esplanade center line. It's 4456. Let's just call it 4456. It's fine. So what I would do is go back to the properties to 44 plus 56. That's close enough. At least you know the side of the street it's on, what it represents, and the stationing, the limits of stationing that you're there. Now, what you can do is, with that, we can do it one of two different ways. We can create an alignment and profile of itself, and then put it into the roadway to see how it's reacting, or we can put that directly into the profile, I believe. So what I want to do is, if I take this alignment, let me think here. I can, well, let's just do this. Let's go to profile and create one from a surface, because I want to see what it's doing. Okay, we'll say draw in. We'll use our styles. Okay. So we're just going to create this profile off to the side here. That's the existing ground profile, but we know we don't want to be going that direction all the way. And this is fairly flat, so this is good that we've done this using an alignment. So now we'll go to where that location is. Where is that location? Is it here? Okay. So it was at 38. So it starts right here. So if I click inside here, it's 170.43. I'm looking at my cursor, my coordinates down here. So I click inside there and it's 170.43. That's where that profile needs to start. So I'm going to just write that down on a scrap piece of paper so we can shoot for it. So it's 170.43 at basically zero elevation in the new profile, in the new alignment. And then it's going to go down to here, and at the end, basically, right? At the end, we want to be shooting for a 169.11. 169.11. So as a starter, that's where that profile needs to be. So we'll go to here. This is the beginning of the alignment, this cyan line, and then this is the end of the alignment at this cyan line. And let me go back there and look at that alignment real quick. So where are we at? We're up above there. I'm going to get rid of these cross-section lines. I can't delete them, because if I delete them, then the entire cross-section goes away. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to say layer add, and then go XS sample lines, which is fine. We'll make that current. Doesn't matter what color there are. We're going to right-click on here, select similar, and bring those all to the same layer all at once with that button right there. The labels I do not need, so I'm going to click the labels themselves and delete. Then I can go to a different layer here and then freeze off this layer. Now they're not in the way, and I can kind of see what I'm doing. So we're going between here and the bottom here, right here. So this line right here is an angle point in the lip of gutter, and that is what we're seeing in this profile. Here's the start, here's the end, and here's that angle point. So now what we can do is we can go to profile, and we want to do by layout. We'll select this group here, and we want to do FG profile, that's fine, and FG profile defaults, that's fine. We'll be renaming this in just a little bit. We're going to draw tangents without curves in here for right now. And what I want to do is I just want to go to the endpoint of here and using the nearest command and the nearest command here. That's all I really need, because I'm going to go back through with this button right here, this data view, the grid view. And with grid view, when I click this, I need to get this thing, there we go. So when I do that, and at 0, the elevation that I wrote down was 170.43, and the elevation at the end was 169.11. And you can see from the grid view here that those slopes, that slope is not enough. Our city standard is 0.25. So what we need to do is do a little bit of work creating some drainage areas. So we come down here, and starting here, it all flows down to the south. We'll make absolutely sure of that. Yes, it flows down to the south, but it's not steep enough. So what we can do is we'll start here, and we'll flow down to, what I'm doing is, one thing I'm doing is I'm trying to check to make sure that there are no other drainages in here. And I don't think there are. We're going to have to put some drainages in there, but instead of freezing everything or thawing everything, let me go to the layer command here, and I'm going to look at all the frozen, and we'll use X storm drain manhole, and X storm drain. We'll turn those two things on, and that will show us the existing facilities, and then we can go from there. So in this area of the roadway, it doesn't look like we have a lot of drainage features. I'm still looking for those areas. Bear with me here. So existing sanitary sewer. So there should be some there should be a layer somewhere around here that also shows those layers. And we just need to make sure that all our storm drain EXSS, EX concrete, and 0. Let's put that back. Now let's go back to freeze and look at all the layers that are frozen. Somewhere around here, there should be, here's EXSS, order is resolved, and let's look at the on-off layers. Okay. Doesn't look like those layers have been created yet. So one thing we can do, I believe, if we go into pipe networks, the only layer right now that, or the only standard that's in there is the sanitary sewer. So let's look up into our drawing and see if we have any pipe networks. Again, this is the North Esplanade sanitary sewer, and that's not going to help us. We need to know where the storm drain is. Let's assume that we don't have much storm drain there, but we're going to be putting in some drain inlets. Here's how we would do that. We take this, it has to be at this elevation when we leave. It has to be, because we're tying into that existing lip of gutter. So what we would do is, and we're only at 10%, negative 10%. And one thing I do want to do is I want to turn on the band. And so at the top, I'll say add that. And now it gives us stations and things like that. So probably what we would do is we would run, say, 300 feet. So what I want to do is I want to put a grade break right about here. And I want to put, I'm going to plan for a drain inlet right here. So what I want to do is I'll click in here and I will edit its geometry. And when I do, I can add a PVI at this location. So what I would do is I would zoom in as much as I can get here, and I would put a PVI on that even station line. And when I say OK, now we're still at 12%. We're still not low enough. But what I can do is I can say minus say 0.3. And so I would make that slope like that at 0.3 because this is going to be kind of a low point. So we have a negative 0.3 here, but then we're going to come up a little bit, just a little bit, and we're going to do that in probably a couple hundred, 200-300 feet. And let's use this line right here, basically this area right here, and I'm just trying to mark it to figure out so I can put it on an even station because I like my stuff on even stations. So then I'll add another vertex, and it'll be up here somewhere. And this may not work out as well as I would hope it to. That's 0.33. That's probably not too bad. But overall, we need to be coming down. So again, I would say we'll make this a 0.3 on this side, and then we'll go look at it. And so I want to bring this back probably to 200 feet. So we'll use this guy here. We'll say NEA. And we'll make that 500 exactly. And so 0.3, 0.3, 500, and then we go back down to minus 0.3. And now it's dropped our N too far, but we still have that written down. That's to be 169.11. So we'll bring that back up, and we'll, instead of setting the grade right now, we'll use this, we're going to erase those two, and I'm going to go probably another 200 to 300 feet. Let's try 300 feet. So right here, I want to grab another vertice, and I'll say NEA, and it doesn't matter, but I want to be on this vertical line. So, and I want to say minus 0.3, come on. Oh, I need to enter that. And then say minus 0.3. And it comes back down, and then I want to go another 200 feet and put another grade break right about here, and then we'll run it all the way down to the intersection. And that's how we would accomplish this. And I'll put this up here. We'll hit enter there, and it looks like right now we come up at 0.21, but we really need to come up at 0.3. And then what does that do to our last one? It's not steep enough. So how we can fix that pretty easily is just take this guy. See, this guy, as I move it out, it keeps the previous grade stationary and only steepens the front grade. So if I add another 50 feet onto this, and I say NEA to here, and it's going to move that grip, this remains at 0.3%. So then we look at what happens here. Let's do a regen here. And it's at negative 0.31, and that's just about the way this road is going to have to go to catch all the drainage. So this is the lip of gutter. And so you're going to have some adjustments as the road goes down. The center line may or may not follow this, but the cross slope will adjust accordingly to compensate for this. And there's probably going to be a combination of both of those.